Welcome to your Daily Five. I am Bruce Fraser, your host, and I have with me today Johnny Scan. John, thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Professor.
We are going to do a continuation of our swing trading workshop, and we recorded this on June 6th for original broadcast on the 7th. Keep in mind, a few of the charts are actually from the 5th. But I also want to make the point that these swing trading workshops or tools are based on Wykoffian concepts of vertical charts and point and figure. And our guest, Johnny Scan, is a superb Wykoffian. And so we are going to employ his knowledge and skills today in this program. And so with that, John, are you nervous?
I'm terrified.
Well, I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to start with a look at Toyota. And Toyota is, you can see in a large trading sideways structure going back to September of last year. This is a classic potential accumulation structure, which means that all of the sideways trading is involving accumulation by large informed interests. Look at this big, beautiful gap up that occurred on that really big trading day that we had at the end of last week. Also, like to look at the momentum as defined by the scooter line. The scooter line is now in an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. So we have improving momentum in an upward trend with relative strength. The bottom cell here also making higher lows and attempting to turn up its moving average. And so we have really good relative strength. Now, the thing about point and figure is that point and figure, is has a way of being able to simplify the structures for the purposes. Well, we can see the structures better, but also we can count them for upward price objectives. And so here you can see this swing trading count on the left, which is the September to November period. And then also we have a current count just jumped out of that area here, February to June. And so how can we get a price objective from this? Let's have a look. And here is the point and figure. And you can see that there is a beautiful accumulation type structure across the whole area. But here is that smaller swing trading count that we had, 8 columns, and those 8 columns produce a count up to 154 to 148. It went right to 148, stopped there, returned back to the support area, attempting to build a bigger cause. Now, this larger structure on the right is 9 columns, slightly larger, and counts up to 152 to 154. But now we're dealing with a much bigger structure. And note here that we can see that we can count over to this retest of the low area. And the reason that we like this area right here is because note how it then cascades upward to the top right away. So the low and the high. And now we have this bigger count, 17 columns, and it counts up to 168, 170. But also, we can take the whole area we defined in the vertical chart all the way across, 29 columns of count, times 1 times the scaling of 2 points. So 29 times 2 added to the low and the count line gives us a count objective 190 to 194. And so there is how we can segment our swing trades from smallest to biggest and have the potential to have a swing trade become more of a campaign as it unfolds and goes higher. A lot of work has to be done to get up to these higher areas, but we will be watching and studying this chart very closely. John, give us a tour of Boeing here.
Well, very interesting chart. look at the move from October to the end of the year, January. Big momentum move there. Then we have a period of consolidation, not unexpected after a move like that, but look at the scooter line flattens out, the relative strength dips slightly, and that's to be expected in areas of consolidation. And now this horizontal movement is beginning to show signs of life, possible accumulation. Recently, we have two higher lows. We have a downward tops line that's been broken to the upside. And nice area in yellow is our potential count area. So very interesting chart there. The PNF also shows us the same thing, only a little bit simpler. X's and O's, couple of numbers, declining tops line, the row of X's after the 6 goes up and through, small pullback, the double zeros, yet still above that declining tops line, coupled with higher bottoms. So a hinge or possible a fulcrum for higher price movement. Your thoughts there, Professor?
Absolutely. And of course, that hinge just illustrates the point of the absorption, because volatility is coming out of here over on this side of the chart. But notice all the volatility that's over here. This shows stock is not in strong hands in the reaccumulation, and that's why they call it reaccumulation. You have stock return back into strong hands for the next move up. And so that is what we could be seeing here potentially. And so here's a count. So John, walk us through this count.
Well, this count is a partial count of the available space for counting. This one goes back 11 bars. The long blue line is our count line, and we move up times our box size 2, and it's a 1 box reversal.
So the 2-point scale, and then 1 box reversal method, which you can see here, and you set that in your point and figure toolbox. But go ahead, please.
Right, with the number of boxes available on the count line is 11. Our box size is 2, so 11 times 2, 22, and we see the top of our line goes from 202 to 224, the addition of 22 points on the chart. And the low end of the structure gives us our lower target at the 217 area. So 1 box reversal, 2 box size, math is simple.
And then also that takes us right up to the top of this resistance area around 220. And then just here's a bigger count. So we can keep counting these segments out. This is an important low followed by a very sharp rally. This sets up the condition for a bigger count. And and then this count goes up 232 to 240. And so
maybe
that
more room.
Lots more room to run here. And so we have, if we can make this smaller count work, then we start to look at how the stock trades at these levels, whether it can get going and move up to the next higher levels. And then it could very well be that this whole area could all become countable. Fascinating. Okay. So here's ARK Innovation, and ARK, Kathy Wood, has been in a big trading range for a very long time. The end of the year, it built a swing count, which we've just put in here, 12 columns, 1 point scaling, 1 box reversal, beautiful count up to 45. Well, the count was 42 to 47, went to 45, fulfilled the count, pulled back to a higher low. Well, now I know that you're all keenly seeing these count structures now. Well, look here. You have a jump up and out, followed by an attempt to reverse back into support. And so look at how beautifully this count area defines itself. Pulls back, 2-box reversal, counts down to this low, and this high, set the trading range. And so now we have this count, 12 columns, counts up 47 to 51. Now, for perspective, here's 51 up here, and this area, if this, which we just counted, gets fulfilled at this 51 area, it's going to be a huge sign of strength that gets back to the August highs. And then is it possible that this whole area becomes countable and it becomes a campaign count? Okay. And with that, let's keep going. This is the industrials, John. What are we looking at? This is a 3-box reversal, which is like a weekly chart. Tell us what you're seeing here.
Well, again, we have the decline into stopping action, declining tops line. That line is broken to the upside.
Sign of strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have certainly the most recent segment that begins in late 22, comes across all above the declining tops line. And that is certainly potential new count. We have a count of 17 columns from the pre-breakout area, and that's countable for us. And the new segment is countable and can confirm the original count. That would be an interesting count to take there, would it not?
Absolutely. And so here's a spring and beautiful symmetry from this pullback low here over to this low, 17 columns. And then note the big catapult wall, they call it in the old days, rallies right up to this high right here. And that's where the resistance is. And so that's beautiful, but we still have this count, 134, 141. So John, what's next here in this whole structure?
Well, we have potential count available in the green area after the catapult wall, and that could bring us up to similar levels count-wise. And imagine confirming count that not only is confirming, but could be added to the prior count. What would that do for us?
Well, and look, these two counts now match each other. And so we're in a place where we have this right side reaccumulation count confirming the lower count. They confirm each other at this 140 level. And one thing I really like about this, John, is that we're looking at the industrial sector. So we should be drilling into these industrial stocks and looking for best ideas. Hint, hint to Johnny Scan for looking for great industrial themes. So I'm, and then finally we have about a minute left. So I'll just really briefly do this oil services. So here's oil services, and the reason we put this up was because we wanted to show this classic distribution. This is a distribution swing count, sign of weakness down here, and then a rally into a failed peak, lower high. This is a last point of supply. We can count all the way over here to this area, and it counts down 268, 260, and this gets right into the climax lows. Beautiful. And we get a beautiful count area here through this. And let's just put that count up for you because we are very close to out of time. And you can see this gives us a count up to this 308, 312 area, which gets us out of this zone. This count could even get bigger before it finally moves up and out. Thank you, John. Any last thoughts in the 10 seconds we have left?
Great to be here as always. Thanks for having me.
Great work. Talk to you soon.